Tangent is what over what? Sine x over cosine x. All right, and what is cotangent? Okay, so now what? Now what do? We got two fractions to add. What do? What do we need to have to add fractions? A common denominator. So we're going to multiply this fraction by what? This one we're going to multiply by sine, and this one we're multiplying by cosine. So let's do it. Oops, I meant to put cosine over there. So my denominator, look at the denominator of both of my fractions. Both of my fractions have the same denominator, which is sine, cosine. So because that's my denominator on both of my fractions, I can bring them together. So let's write what we have going across the top. Let's start here. What is sine times sine? Sine squared. Plus, what's cosine times cosine? Cosine squared. Okay. Hopefully, you're getting like a ding, 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 ding in your brain, because there is something in that fraction that we can simplify. Sine squared plus cosine squared is 1. Anytime you hit this, this is equal to 1. That's your identity. So now I have 1 over cosine times sine. And remember, I told you that when you have a fraction and you have an identity or a ratio, a trig ratio in the denominator, that you could bring it upstairs and change it to the sister. That's what's happening here. If I bring the cosine x upstairs, it's going to change to secant. And if I bring the sine x upstairs, it is going to change to cosecant. So do you see how, because again, we have the answer, but on the test, you would have to show me how to get there. It's like I'm giving you the destination, but you have to show your direction. It has to flow. Any questions about number 2?
How did it turn into, like, what did the 1 do?
So your identity, let me see your pink paper. When the first identity is right here, it's right under there, under Pythagorean identity. Sine squared plus cosine squared is 1.
I meant like,
Oh, sorry.
like the answer. Like, how do you get cosecant?
Oh, I brought it upstairs and changed it to the sister.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, y'all, let's look at number 3. So we're adding fractions. What do we need to have when we're adding fractions? A common denominator. So I'm trying to get to 2 cosecant. So that means that this fraction I'm multiplying by sine. All right, let's multiply this fraction by sine. And the other fraction, what do you think I'm multiplying it by? So we got our sine right here. That's where I got the sine from. What's the denominator of the other fraction, on the one on the left? 1 plus cosine. So I have to multiply the other fraction, top and bottom, by 1 plus cosine. All right, so I'm going to bring this all together. So I have a fraction, and this is my denominator. And we got a little bit of a complicated numerator. So the first thing is, I'm going to multiply these together. What do you get when you multiply the sign by sign? Sign squared. Bring down the addition sign. And then these are two groups. All right. So that's a 1 plus cosine theta times a 1 plus cosine theta. All right, so algebraically, we need to simplify the numerator. How will I, what is my next step? What'd you say? Not quite. Before we get there, it is going to be a cosine square, but we have to multiply this. This is the same thing if I said multiply 1 plus x times 1 plus x. What would you do? Make a box or foil or something. You gotta multiply it. So I'm going to multiply it. I'm just going to put 1 plus c off to the side. Go ahead and multiply 1 plus c times 1 plus c. And we know c is cosine. So go ahead and fill in your box. See what you get. All right, so you should get in the box, you should have cosine squared theta plus what? 2 cosine theta plus what? 1. That's what you should have. That's all over your denominator. Okay. So again, we're trying to get to 2 cosecant. We're not there yet. What's my next step? Look, Hay is on it over here. That identity. Sine squared plus cosine squared. We got it again right here. So what can I change that part that I have highlighted to? A 1. Let's do it. So now I have 1 plus 2 cosine theta plus 1. That's in my numerator. And that's all over my denominator. Okay, now what? Anything else I could do in the top? Do I have any like terms? The 1s, right. So what do I get when I add those together? 2. All right. So now I have, let me come over here. 2 plus 2 cosine theta. Now we're getting somewhere because it's looking like we're getting close to the end. Okay. Now this is kind of where it gets a little icy because I don't know if you all recognize the next move, because the next move is an algebra 1 move. And it's 3 letters. And it's the first step of factoring. GCF. Do we have a GCF in the numerator? Yes. Now, there is an invisible times 1. Let me go ahead and put that. That 2 is really a 1 times 2. So when I take out the GCF of 2, let's go ahead and do that. I'm taking out the 2. What I have left in parentheses is what? No, you forgot. So we got a 1, a plus sign, and a cosine. That's what we have left. 1 plus cosine theta. And that's all over sine theta and 1 plus cosine theta. Okay, well, look, we getting, I see something I could do now. What do you think? What can I do? What you think, Miles? What can I do? Cancel it. So now I'm at 2 over sine theta. I'm trying to get to 2 cosecant theta. So what do I have to do with that sine theta? If it's downstairs, if you move it upstairs, it changes to the sister. And who is the sister to sine? So now I am where I was trying to get to. Let me zoom out so you all can see the whole picture. We had the answer, but when I'm grading your next test, if you say you go from here to here and you don't show me how you got there, that doesn't count, because we already know the answer. You just have to show me how we got there. All right, let's keep moving. Let's look at number 4. So there's a couple different ways to do this one. I think I'm gonna stick with this one way. Okay, so I was going to do something different, but I'm not. All right, so we got the numerator, which is 1 plus secant squared. All right. And what is secant squared? That's the same as 1 over cosine squared. Now, the term common denominator is going to come up so many times. So many times. So I have to multiply the 1 by cosine squared. Well, actually, let me go back. Because this is a 1 over 1. I have to multiply this by cosine squared, top and bottom, to get a common denominator. Sorry, this new pen is not as good as my old one. So now I have cosine squared at the bottom. And then at the top, I have cosine squared times 1, which is cosine squared, and then plus 1. So at the top, I have a cosine squared plus 1. So we got as far as we can go. Now let's look at our denominator. Our denominator is not that complicated. It just says secant squared, which is the same as 1 over what? 1 over tangent? Y'all making me so nervous. We've been talking about sister identities since January, and we're almost in March. So if we don't know who the sister to secant is on this good old February 27th, then I'm worried. Okay, so secant squared is 1 over who? Cosine squared. All right, I'm dividing fractions. How do you divide fractions? Go ahead and do that. Okay, so then we do our keep, change, flip. So keep, change, flip. So we got cosine squared x plus 1 over cosine squared x, change and flip. Now what's going to happen? Yep, cancel. So I'm left with cosine squared x plus 1. And what am I trying to get to? 1 plus cosine squared. So let me ask you this, because I have to end exactly how they want me to. Can I flip that and it still be true? So what I'm trying to ask you is cosine squared plus 1 the same as 1 plus cosine squared? Let me ask you with numbers. Is 1 plus 2 the same as 2 plus 1? So that means we can flip it, right? So let's go ahead and flip it, and we are where we tried to get to. And there we go. All right, we got a couple more, then I'm going to show you your test. Okay, number 5 is one of those things where there's a lot of different ways to do this. And I don't really know which way I want to go about doing it. I think I'll do it the way you all might do it, because I don't think you all will see the GCF like I see it. Does anyone see the greatest common factor? Well, you probably didn't see that until I said that, right? All right, well, let's go the long way. So this would be 1 over cosine squared alpha minus sine squared alpha times 1 over cosine squared alpha. Okay, Kamaya making a face. Let me start over. All right, so we got secant squared, which is the same as 1 over cosine squared alpha. All right, y'all got me right there. You got me, Kamaya? Okay, bring down the subtraction sign. And then I have a sine squared, so I'm going to bring that down. That's just a sine squared alpha. It's already written in terms of sine and cosine, so I can't do anything with that. And this is being multiplied by a secant, which is what? 1 over cosine. Okay, so now we can multiply without a common denominator. So let's go ahead and bring this together. And when I bring it together, I have 1 over cosine theta, 1 over cosine squared theta, sorry, minus sine squared theta over cosine squared theta. Okay. Anybody lost? Do we know how we got to this point in the road? Okay. I already have a common denominator, right? So we could just bring it together and make it one good old fraction instead of 2. Okay, now what? What does the numerator change to? Cosine squared. Because 1 minus sine squared is cosine squared. So now, let me go over here. I have a cosine squared divided by a cosine squared. And what do you think a cosine squared divided by a cosine squared equals? 3. Good job. But don't write that down, everybody else. What does that equal? 1. And that is where I was trying to get to. The other way was to take out the GCF, but I don't think you all would see that. Did you see that? You did? Oh, well. Okay, let me do it that way, because we did a whole lot. But the other way would have been to take out the secant squared, and then you would have 1 minus sine squared, which would change to a cosine squared. And you get to the 1 a lot faster. So we didn't have to do all that, and I was debating which way I wanted to do it. Yes, Aaliyah, sorry. Y'all got to talk because I don't see stuff. I'm old. But I was debating which way to do it. But again, so I would say this is the highway, this is the street way. I don't care. Do it whichever way you got to do it, but you have to prove to me that it equals 1. Okay, yes.
Where did the sign go after?
What sign? The 1 minus sine squared alpha?
Yeah.
That's an identity. So look on your pink paper. Look where it says Pythagorean identities. It should be like, and then you see where it says sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. And then it says, does it say, what does it say? Does it say, can I see your paper? Okay, go down to where it says variations of the Pythagorean identity. And do you see where it says sine squared theta equals 1 minus cosine squared? And the same thing for cosine. So what I did was 1 minus sine squared changed to a cosine. That's why I said when we started this out, like there really is no easy way. But these identities right here, you need to know these. Like you should have known them on the test, which obviously a lot of you didn't because the average was so low. But you do need to know them because we're going to use them a lot. So when you see a 1 minus sine squared, you should know that's cosine squared. And 1 minus cosine squared is sine squared. You're going to use these three a whole lot. So you definitely need to know these. All right, let's look at number 6. Oh, we already did number 6. Wait, what number are we on? Oh, it's another page. Okay, sorry. All right, number 6. I think we should probably split it up because looking at it the way it is now, I don't see anything I can do. Like there's no like terms. I don't see an identity. Like there is nothing there. So this is a situation where I would split it up. So let's start off with the numerator. And I'm going to quit talking for a minute. And I want you to tell me, I'm going to come around and see who can actually simplify this down. Simplify 1 plus cosecant. Get as far as you can get. Look for a common denominator. Change it to the sister. I see why Miss Taylor told me that it was bad.
I was over there giving the nose. She's just maxed. I didn't see her last year.
Okay. All right. Just try to see, just go as far as you can go. Change it to the sister. Get a common denominator. Then that means you're going backwards. So now you need to add the fractions together. You can't get to this is 1 over 2. You don't change the side. You only work with one side. The cosecant is 1 over sine.
Okay, so
You have a common. Then what do you do right here? Oh, okay. All over sine. So this is where you end. That's where you should end. That is correct. That's as far as you should get. Yeah, stop right there. That's where I want you to get it, right there. Okay, that wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. I saw a few people make it where I wanted you to get to, which was 1 plus sine over sine. So let's see how we get there. So we got 1 plus 1 over sine alpha. And then I'm going to change this to sine alpha over sine alpha. And then so we got our common denominator. So I end up with the sine alpha plus 1 all over sine. And that's as far as I wanted you to get.
I have a question. What's the difference between the X and the alpha?
Yeah, those are all variables. So there's Greek letters and English letters. You can make, if you want to make it always X, you can. Alpha, sometimes they'll do a beta, sometimes they do theta, whatever. You can use whatever you want to. All right, so our denominator, fortunately for us, our denominator is actually pretty simple. It's just secant. And what is secant? What is that going to change to? Well, good. Okay. So we made it to this step. That's pretty good. All right, now we got 2 fractions. And how do we divide fractions? Yeah, I think, I don't know if you are hearing these common things we're doing over and over again. Common denominator, keep, change, flip, identity. It's one of those things you have to lock in on, though. Yeah, that's all I'll say there. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here and do my keep, change, flip. Okay, so what I'm noticing when I get to this step, there's nothing that cancels, right? So because nothing cancels, I'm going to have to distribute. So what I want you to do is I want you to distribute this cosine. So take that cosine and multiply it by sine plus 1. So when you run out of moves, then you got to think about some algebra. Okay, well, I can't do anything right here. What is there a property that I learned in algebra that I could do? Okay, yeah, no, I could do the distributive property. So then I have sine alpha cosine alpha plus the cosine alpha all over sine alpha. Now, you can always separate your fractions. You don't have to make them with one denominator. We can break it apart so that each fraction is standing alone. Okay, so from here, you all should be able to take it home. What's going to happen with the first fraction? Look in here, what's going to happen?
Cancel.
Yeah, sine can cancel. And what is that going to leave me with? Cosine. And then, what is cosine divided by sine? Is that where we were trying to get? Then we made it.